Hi aviation lovers, my name is Irina, you on the Jetstream Ginger channel, and today we're reviewing another airline for aspiring cabin crew, Turkish Airlines. Salary, pros, cons, requirements, and basically everything you need to know who this airline is really for. Whether you want to apply or just want to know more about the airline, fasten your seatbelt as we're flying right into it. If you are new here, quick context, I'm a former flight attendant of 5 years, and on this channel I have a series of videos where I compare airlines honestly, no recruiter promises or TikTok fairy tales, but real expectations. So if you want to check my other reviews, you are free to do that, but today we'll focus specifically on Turkish Airlines, and I'll start with a brief history of the airline. Turkish Airlines was founded in 1933, starting with just 5 aircraft and fewer than 30 employees. Over the decades, it has grown into one of the most powerful global airlines. The airline operated its first international flight in 1947, officially became Turkish Airlines in 1955, and later joined IATA and Star Alliance, solidifying its global presence. Today, Turkish Airlines operates a young, modern fleet of over 500 aircraft, flies to 130 countries, and is based at Istanbul Airport, one of the world's largest aviation hubs. Its signature Wild Goose logo represents endurance, altitude, and a long-distance flying, which fits perfectly with the airline's ultra-wide global network. Turkish Airlines offers one of the strongest benefit packages among other legacy carriers, but what matters is how is it different from others and what extra benefits does Turkish Airlines provide if you compare it to the regular airlines. When it comes to travel, Turkish Airlines is the best airline to work for. They fly to more countries than any other airlines, which mean a massive route network and a variety of destinations. So for cabin crew, it means a lot of layovers and not just back-to-back flights to the same destination. If you join aviation to see the world, Turkish Airlines is the airline who actually delivers on that promise. This is a career airline and not just try and see option, so they do have a really structured, clear pathway to the senior cabin crew position, purser, or even the position in management. They offer the structure, upgrade opportunity, and not just a random upgrade. So many crew stays for 10, 15, 20 plus years, and that says a lot. But for me, strong employee care is something that you don't see nowadays really often, and it really deserves its attention. Turkish Airlines doesn't treat the employees just like numbers, but as a human being, and I know that not just because of the marketing, but because of my friend. A friend of mine used to work for Turkish Airlines for many years for the Ukrainian hub, and not as a flight attendant, but just in the office. But when the war in Ukraine started, Turkish Airlines really took care of the employees who used to work in the Ukrainian office. They not just helped them with the relocation, they were paying them the salaries even without them being at the office and working at the moment. They provided them with accommodation or hotel for months. And they also helped to relocate them to other bases in Turkey or European bases. So they really care about their staff, and for me that means a lot. Because talking from experience, some airlines don't really care of you and they treat you as a number and that you are super replaceable. But from my friend's experience and from people who used to work for the Turkish Airlines, I know that they really take care of the staff and they treat them really like a family. And yes, Turkish Airlines provide all the benefit package that you can expect from the legacy airline. That's why I didn't mention it like at the early part of the video, at the early part of this benefit package, because I want to speak more specifically about something that they could offer extraordinary, like care or wide network, but they also have a common package for the industry. Of course, they have layover allowances, fully paid hotels and transportation on your layovers. They have a health insurance. They do have discounts for yourself and your family members, like immediate family, not only with Turkish Airlines, but also with partners airlines, so you can travel anywhere in the world with a 90% discount. This is quite standard for the airlines, so I mentioned it as a one package, but we also need to talk about salary, because you are interested in this part, right? Compared to minimum wage salary in Turkey in 2025, Turkish Airlines entry-level cabin crew position earned 3 times more than that, make it one of the most competitive aviation jobs in the country. For those just starting, the salary will be at around 50 to 55,000 Turkish lira, which is around 1,200 US dollars per month, raising up to 100,000 Turkish liras a month, which is around 2,300 US dollars, as they gain their first year of experience as a flight attendant. With time and added responsibilities, senior cabin crew members could earn up to 4,600 US dollars a month, but I would say that the average Turkish Airlines flight attendant earn around 47,000 US dollars a year. Turkish Airlines doesn't provide you with accommodation or accommodation allowance, which means that your accommodation in Istanbul is your responsibility and it will reduce the value of your salary, I would say. It's not that common for the airlines to provide you with accommodation or accommodation allowance, but if you compare it to big major competitors of Turkish Airlines, like for example Emirates or Qatar, they do provide, so that's why I mentioned it in the video. It counts, but most of the airlines do not provide accommodation or accommodation allowance, so Turkish Airlines doesn't do that as well. Salary is great for Turkey, yes, but it's not the highest in the industry. Yes, for the local market, for Turkey, it's really great, but if you're going to compare it to other major international airlines, it's not the most luxurious salary, especially if we take into consideration how demanding this role can be. It's not like a regional airline, it's a really legacy carrier, so it's really demanding and it could be hard to keep up with the standards. And I can't mention the most con for foreigners. Hiring is extremely restricted. Turkish Airlines mainly focused on Turkish nationals and blue card holders, which means that it's almost impossible to be hired as a Turkish Airlines flight attendant as a foreigner. It doesn't mean that it's impossible. Actually, most people think that it is impossible, but that's not true. But there is one thing, even if you're hired as an expat, it'll be super route-based, language-based hiring, meaning you're hired for a very specific reason and your flying network will be super restricted. And with that, I'll talk about requirements. And we're gonna start with the Turkish nationals as they are mainly focused on hiring them. Here on the screen, you can see the list of requirements that Turkish Airlines ask from the candidates. They're quite similar to other airlines, like perfect health and clear criminal record. Also, they do have very detailed requirements for your age and height. And I mentioned on other airlines reviews that they do have those age restrictions, but usually they do not mention them on the official website. But Turkish Airlines is super specific and they are looking for people who were born from 2, so you know for sure if you can pass that part of assessment or not. As well, they have a specific requirements for haze. Some airlines, they just mention the minimum haze requirements, but Turkish Airlines, they do have that requirements for both male and females, and they're different. So for female, it's from 160 to 180 centimeters, and for male, it's from 170 to 190 centimeters. Turkish Airlines does hire foreign cabin crew, but those hiring are super restricted, language-based. For example, in 2024, they did have a recruitment event for Hindu speakers. This was not a global recruitment, it was a super specific rare campaign and they were looking for language speakers. They had the general requirements, except of that part that you should be a blue card holder or Turkish nationals, but instead of that, they required you to speak Hindu. But once employed, expat cabin crew are mainly scheduled to fly to their home-based destination or a language-based destination because that was the reason they hired them. So not across global Turkish Airlines network. So is Turkish Airlines worth applying for? Yes, but only if it matches your goals. If you're a Turkish national who are looking for a job in aviation, secured with a clear promotional path, well paid for the region, and you generally enjoy customer facing roles, then yes, Turkish Airlines is really good opportunity. If you're a foreigner, it could still be a great opportunity, but you need to be realistic. Recruitment is rare, language based, and your flying network is really limited. So this is not a type of flight everywhere cabin crew job. Yes, for a Turkish national it is, but for you as a foreigner, it's super language based. Your schedule will be almost the same every other month. So you can still travel the world with Turkish Airlines discount, and you need to relocate to Istanbul to fly as a Turkish Airlines cabin crew anyway. Also, the salary is not the highest in the industry, but it's a legacy airline, so the job could be really demanding, and you need to remember that and to consider all the pros and cons. As always, choose airline that fit your life. Choose wisely. That's basically all I wanted to mention in this video. Don't forget to write an opinion in the comment section under this video because it gives me motivation to do this video. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and I believe I see you soon. Bye!